Good morning.
Hi, Samba.
Hi,
Good
Samba.
morning. Good morning, Rajiv. Good morning, Jai. After a long time.
Yeah, long time.
Hi, Samba. Goodbye.
Hi, Raghu. You're also after a long time.
Hi, Samba.
Samba, yeah.
Good morning, sir. Vijay Garu. Wow, Prabhu
Recording,
is
recording
half
is started. Hi, Prabhu.
Super, yeah. 8 people so far
Good
within 4 minutes.
morning. Good morning, all.
Lot of
Good
demand
morning.
for
Morning,
Kagga.
Prabhu.
Yes. Every minute, two people joining.
Hi, Prabhu. Good morning.
Yeah, recording
So
has started
I
already.
will get
Super.
start.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Raghu, get started.
Mm.
yes. So this is my first actually this kind of discussion. I'm just sharing this for the first time. Thanks, Rajiv, for this triggering this point in me. So I would like to start by remembering those teachers who helped me develop this interest in Kagga. First time I heard these three verses which I'm going to talk about was for almost 15 years back from my cousin's daughter, who was just 4-year-old then, and they had come to our house in their visit, like they were settled in US and they had come here. So when we wanted to ask her or tell us something, she said these three uh, verses of Kagga. It was so nice that she learned and she was able to tell, and we were able to get it also. And that's how the interest started. And I got to know that is from my uncle, who always has this Kagga by his side. And that was the first trigger. And then I happened to attend one discourse from Swami Brahmanandji in Ragigudda. Brahmanandji is from Chinmaya Mission. I believe most of you know him. He conducts this Gita Gnana Yajnas, and it's a kind of like 1 week discourse. And he used to tell this entire concept of or the different things from Bhagavad Gita by referring to Kagga and explaining it. So it was very nice, and what I did was I got to know that there are some 7 hour lectures, CDs or cassettes that was available, and so I got the CDs, and that has something been a favorite among all my family and my relatives also. And this is one of the common playlist which is there where I conveniently use it in Bangalore traffic while driving. So that is something that is there. And my brother who brought this practice at home, like he used to write one Kagga every day in a notice board and keep it displayed in our dining room just to punch it along. Like, so that was the way that I got it. And after that, I've heard multiple discourses from uh, people like Lakshmi Narayan Bhatta and Dr. Ganesh. So this is what, and then I believe people from South Bengaluru would have seen that in DVG Road, there are these boards which have been kept across with all these verses. So I keep reading that also when I wait in the footpath while my wife does the shopping in DVG Road. So that's it. I would like to give you a very quick overview of MankuthimmanaKagga, the work and also the author before I talk about these three verses. This actually is a collection of around 945 poems written by uh, D.V. Gundappa, whom he's famously referred as DVG. And this was actually published way back in 1943, uh, published, but maybe he was, as he has said, it is a consolidation of multiple uh, um, uh, things that he has piled up over a period of time. And I believe you know this author, right? Uh, he was a multifaceted activist, writer, and predominantly a journalist during that time. And he has been referred as a rishi by his contemporaries only. And this is actually a consolidation of all his learnings from Vedas, Upanishads, Brahma Sutras, Bhagavad Gitas, the Prasthanatrayas also, which he has properly been trained under a guru, and also along with his life experience. So this has got a lot of uh, content in it, that it has been a kind of inspiration for many. And there have been many commentaries, PhD theses, and all which has been written upon this. And there are many who have dedicated their life in conducting lectures on Kagga only. And moreover, there are many people who have lived a contented life, and they have openly told that this has been because I have been uh, uh, I've learned Kagga, and I have been referring to Kagga all during the entire life. So that's the beauty of this. And with this introduction, let me give you the construct how this uh, Kagga is like how what is the pattern. So there are 4 line poems, which is in a particular meter. So if you tune it to one particular tune, and you can read all these things in that format. So now coming to this 3 verses, what I wanted to tell, like normally in Sanskrit literature, or typically in our Hindu Indian literature, you would see that they start literary works with a prayer or offering to God, right? Which is which acts actually like a prelude to the work. Something that I can remember is like all of you would have heard, right? This Vagartha viva samprukto Vagartha pratipate jagatah pitaro vande parvati parameshwaro. This is a shloka, but it is written by Kalidasa as a prelude or a prayer song before his famous work Raghuvamsha. So Raghuvamsha as a big work is talking about the great persons of Raghuvamsha. But what he has done is he is talking about the characteristic of a noble man using Parvati Parameshwara, like how a person can exist, like um uh, one if is the word and the other is a meaning. So that kind of bondage that one can attain, uh, that is how you can say that you see that as your Shiva, who is his Kalidasa's deity. At the same time, he is also bringing that concept, which is about the noble characteristics of great people. So that is something that you can see in multiple works, and something that I was thinking actually yesterday night, and I could recollect even in some of our movies. You can see that in as a prelude, you will see the story also being shown in a different way. Something that I remembered was this old film of Shashi Kapoor and Amitabh Bachchan, which is Do Aur Do Panch, where the story is there later, but in the title cards, you will see that these two characters are animated and the entire story goes. Or even this Hum Tum, that was released sometime in 90s or 2000s. That also has all these cartoons which almost tell you this story about this boy and girl and things like that. So this actually acts like a prelude, and similarly for this Kagga, there are these first 3 verses of Kagga which talks about God, and nowhere you will see like all these uh, kind of prayers or anything as such in the other 940 verses. So, but these three is something that gives you the concept or a prelude. So you can say that this will be kind of an introduction for all of you. So that's that being said, let me tell you how this he has done. He has used a concept of 3 verses to explain or to explain his understanding of God, and each verse elevates from one level to the next. So that's what it is. Anybody wants to add before I get into those 3 songs about your uh, uh, understanding, or what do you want to talk about DVG and your experience?
Raghunandan, hi, this is Prabhu.
Hi,
Even I am very much impressed by the way Brahmanandaji had, explained in the discourses. I was so impressed that once I had visited Chinmaya Mission and I saw, I wanted to see him. For that
Yeah.
itself, I visited Chinmaya Mission thrice or
Yes.
4 times. Once I met him, I was so happy that I met him. I suggest whoever understand Kannada, please, there are audios available online by Brahmananda of Chinmaya Mission. It is, at least I am very much impressed the way he had described Kaggas.
Very nice, bro. Even I happened to meet him. Such a contented personality, right? The smile and all is so nice to meet
Yes.
him and get his
Yeah.
briefings. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also happened to visit, and he got me. It was a lunchtime, so he asked me to be part of the lunch, and it was so nice and humbling experience to have lunch along with these great people. That's a my lifetime experience
Yeah.
in
Great.
Chinmaya
Yeah.
Mission, Bangalore. Yeah. So let me sing. I think you can also join me, Prabhu. These are the first three songs or the three poems or verses, which goes like this. I believe you can. Uh, you will be able to get it yourself. Except there are few words, but you will be more or less be able to get the content. It goes like this. Shri Vishnu Vishwadi Moola Maya Lola Deva Sarvesha Parabhummanendu Janam Audanu ಕಾಣದೊಡಂ ಅಳ್ತಿಯಂ ನಂಬಿಹುದು ಆ ವಿಚಿತ್ರಕ್ಕೆ ನಮಿಸೋ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ ಜೀವ ಜಡರೂಪ ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನದಾವುದೋ ಆವರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಒಳನಿಹುದು ಇಹದಂತೆ ಭಾವಗೊಳಪಡದಂತೆ ಅಳತೆ ಅಳವಡದಂತೆ ಆ ವಿಶೇಷಕ್ಕೆ ಮಣಿಯೋ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ ಇಹುದೋ ಇಲ್ಲವೋ ತಿಳಿಯಗೊಡದೊಂದು ವಸ್ತು ನಿಜ ಮಹಿಮೆಯಿಂಜಗವಾಗಿ ಜೀವ ವೇಷದಲ್ಲಿ ವಿಹರಿಪುದದೊಳ್ಳಿತೆಂಬುದು ನಿಸದವಾದೊಡ ಆ ಗಹನ ತತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಶರಣು ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. These are the three songs or verses that I would like to explain. So the first verse, you could recollect, he is referring to all the different names like Shri Vishnu, Adi Purusha or Vishwa, the person who is the like maybe like the concept of Adam and things like that, or Maya Lola, Deva, uh, and then Sarvesha, which could be like omnipotent God, Parabrahma, which people refer, right? These are the names which we will refer as God, and he gives a very nice twist. He says that which people undoubtedly believe, right? Despite nobody has seen, and right, but we keep continuing to uh, talk about it. So that's the first respect that he gives. He says, "A vichitrake namiso mankutimma." So the concept here he's saying is vichitra. That's that strangeness. You salute to that strangeness. That's the first line. Maybe I'll also tell that what does this Mankutima mean? Like typically in some of the old poems and all, you would have Bhupa Kelinda and all, right? So similarly, he ends everything with Mankutima, and it also has a very nice uh, way to convey that we all are essence of God, but we are our thoughts and knowledge has been like foggy. It has manku there. So that is something that through this entire thing it will trick you, like, okay, no, this is something that it, so let me get myself clear my thoughts, and so that could be the one. But when people have asked him, and there are some quotations which tell that why you have given this Mankutima, he has been very he trivializes that, saying that you can use anything else, you can use Venka, you can use Shankarari or whatever you want, but this is the content you can just keep referring to and use it. So that he doesn't want to give too much prominence about this Mankutima. So the other things is where he wants us to understand. So by the first one, he's referring to all gods, and the second one, he gets a bit more physiological. He says, Jiva Jada Rupa ಪ್ರಪಂಚವನ್ನು ಅದ್ಯಾವುದೋ ಆವರಿಸಿಕೊಂಡು ಒಳ ನೆರೆದು ಇಹುದಂತೆ ಭಾವಕ್ಕೊಳಪಡದಂತೆ ಅಳತೆಗೆ ಅಳವಡದಂತೆ. Isn't, I believe you got it right. So what he's telling is, across all entities with life or without life, jiva or jada rupa, across the globe, it is surrounded or penetrated by that. So he is not giving any names. That which cannot be felt, bhava, you cannot get into your feelings, right? Bhavake ಒಳಪಡದಂತೆ and ಅಳತೆಗೆ ಅಳವಡದಂತೆ, which means like you cannot measure it also, like what is it, quantify it. So for that, the second stanza, it says, bow yourself. ಆ ವಿಶೇಷಕ್ಕೆ ಮಣಿಯು, that special thing you bow yourself. So it is levels. First you are saluting, namaste, you are then you are getting to the next one, which is money, and then he gets a bit philosophical. So it says, ihudo illavo ತಿಳಿಯಗೊಡದೊಂದು ವಸ್ತು ನಿಜ. So he's saying that it is actually that entity, right? That which what we are saying is ಮಹಿಮೆಯಿನ್ ಜಗವಾಗಿ ಜೀವವೇಷದಲ್ಲಿ. So we are seeing its manifestation, right, across. So if it is true that this entity which is manifesting in its glory by flowing in this world as life, jiva veshadali, huh? So for that, he says the last line, which is very nice, ಆ ಗಹನ ತತ್ವಕ್ಕೆ ಶರಣೋ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. So surrender to that deep philosophy. So this is very interesting, and I like this very much. He's asking us to elevate ourselves from this concept of God, which is all very important. First, it starts with the way that we are all used to. We call him with different names, and then we also see our nature around us. That also has life. That also has something that creates that curiosity to know who has created this, what is this, and all. And then the next one, he is talking about the doubt whether he is there or not there, and if it is there, it is good, right? And if you start believing that if it is there and that is something good, then completely believe it and surrender yourself to that, right? So from a feeling of strangeness, he's asking you to completely surrender. Right? I believe people here who are very good in understanding Gita and all, you would have got that concept of surrender, where you can see that what Krishna was told by what Krishna told to Arjuna, right? Total surrender. So that is the concept that he's bringing within these three shlokas. And you can see that one level to another, how he that slow how it transcends, right? And becoming a seeker to understand that how this each and every manifestation, each and every thing that we see around, if you are able to relate that to God, then that is and the ultimate realization, right? So that philosophy is something that he has explained. So I believe this is very nice, and it intrigues me, like and this is something that if you have heard this any of these shlokas or discourses, the Swamiji also starts with these three uh, as a prayer. And very nice thought. Though DVG has written a separate book on Devuru, on God, which is very nice, and that equally nice is another book written by A.N. Murthy Rao, which is from an atheist's perspective of God. Both are very well recognized and acknowledged by Kannada readers. And in fact, the one from A.N. Murthy Rao is actually a trigger from what DVG has written. And that has also got Sahitya's Academy Prize. So I believe I suggest you to read that, and even this um, uh, the concept of God in these three is something that you can consider it as a kind of interest or uh, inspiration for you to read the other verses. So with this, I would like to hear from you, like what do you feel, what do you understand, or your perspective, and maybe we can discuss further.
So Raghu, you were telling these are the three poems, right? In
Three
Kagga.
poems, yes.
So
Yes.
these are
First
three.
three poems.
Okay, 3 out of 945. That's what.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, okay. And these three acts as a prelude, you're telling.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay.
So Raghu, there's a lot of syllabus left then.
Yeah, yeah. Each and every poem, and in fact, uh, there are nice way of categorizing this also, like how we see Swami Brahmanand ji categorizes this into different chapters of Bhagavad Gita. There are people who have uh, seen or categorized this into different ways of people, happiness, and things like that. So, in fact, this has not won any what you say Jnanapita Prashasti or anything, but people consider this is something much more beyond that. So the reason why few people believe that this has not won is because it does not have any one flow or a structure or something like that. It is more like consolidation of different small uh, uh, thoughts, like DVG has compiled this as notes of his different learnings, different experiences of life, and he has put together and he has published this. In fact, there is one poem which is telling like why he has written this. He starts by telling that ಕವಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ವಿಜ್ಞಾನಿ ಅಲ್ಲ ಬರೀ ತಾರಾಡಿ ಅವನರಿವಿಗೆ ಎಟಕುವಲು ಒಂದಷ್ಟು ಆ ಅವನರಿವಿಗೆ ಎಟಕುವಲು ಒಂದಿಷ್ಟು ಪದ್ಯಗಳನ್ನು ಇನ್ ಎ ಕಾಮನ್ ವರ್ಡ್ಸ್ ಪಾಮರ ಜನರ ಮಾತಿನಲ್ಲಿ ಕವನ ನೆನಪಿಗೆ ಸುಲಭ ಎಂದು ಬರ್ದಿದ್ದೀನಿ ಅಂತ. So that means he just wants to make this as a kind of thing which is common man's understanding, and which helps in memorizing, so that if you can read this and by heart it, it will help in understanding or digesting some of the concepts of all these the Pastanatrayas or Vedas, right? So that's how he has put it across.
So Raghu, first of all, you
Yeah, Manju.
flowed like a river without any barriers. So nice, so calmly you explained, very clearly. Thanks for that,
Thank you.
yeah.
Thank you.
Second, actually, just like you, there were two other people in Siemens itself who are big time, what is it, students of Mankuthimmanakagga. One is our Yogi, and another is a colleague who left Siemens a couple of years back called Mahadev. Both
Okay.
actually have, what is this, by-hearted, and also probably they have a pretty decent understanding of the meaning of many of these Mankuthimmanakagga verses. So having said that, coming back to this three verses, actually you kind of clarified the question that I was wondering. Why did the DVG write this Mankuthimmanakagga is what I was thinking. And you clarified for the benefit of common people. But actually, when I attempted to read some of this Kagga just by looking at this Kannada stanzas, no,
Yeah.
it was a bit tricky to understand. So this is where I felt there is some interpretation required. And what both you and Prabhu seems to be suggesting is Swami Brahmananda's interpretation is probably the best one to go with from audio perspective, right?
Thanks, Manju. I think definitely Swami Brahmanji's audio which are available in YouTube are really a very nice explanation. It does not capture all the 945 verses. He takes couple of them, which is something that is in a flow for him to explain. And the best part is he has a very soothing voice and very nice rendition, and with nice anecdotes all across. So you feel completely engaged for that period. Uh, but to understand each one of them, I also refer one app which is there, which you can put it into your mobile also. It's called Kagga, which has slightly explained in a crisp way some of the old Kannada words, and then gives you a meaning in Kannada and English as well. But
Okay.
maybe what you can do is if you take that tune what Swami Brahmanji has given and try to sing it in that, more or less you will get all, even the because the structure is like that 4-line structure, and some of the words end in abruptly and then continue or something like that. You will see it may be a bit difficult for you, but if you put that tune and start reading that, more or less you will understand yourself except for one or two words, and that you will get it.
Okay, sure. And thanks for those references, Raghu. And just now one question on the three verses.
Yeah.
So in the first line, he refers to this whatever entity or a principle as Vichitra, which means strangeness.
Yeah.
And in the last words, at least the third poem, he calls it as Gahana Tattva.
Correct.
So that means from strangeness to deep philosophy.
Yeah.
So I was just thinking about it. So does it mean that he's trying to say philosophies are all strange, or the way we look at interpreting these philosophies with our own filters, that makes it strange?
Yeah. I think that's a nice thought, but anybody want you can add my understanding or thought. I'll explain you, Manju. The first one, I feel it is more referring to the way that but this the first one also, though it says Vichitra, he is paying his respect, right? That we should understand. So he says that, yeah, that is something strange, but that I want to salute. So you can say that he is looking from a, uh, uh, mind dominated perspective, more rather than the heart dominated. Like first one, I feel it is more like bhakti, right? Where we are completely believing by seeing somebody as a person, and that's where we refer to him as names. And then next thing is where you can see that it is talking about the nature, where it is slowly moving away from uh, God as the form that we are in, but across in a physiological way. And then it gets into inward thinking, like is it really there or not there, and that becomes too deep, intense, right? That is actually a thought-provoking thing. But that also he says that you don't know that whether he is there or not, but we know because
Correct.
there is an outcome, so there should be a source, right? What we are seeing is the outcome or the manifestation, as that explanation or something that I could find the meaning in this word. So if you are able to see that the byproduct or outcome of somebody as a source, that means there should be a source. So we are getting into that kind of uh, thought, and then we say that okay, that is there, so let us believe. And if you start believing, then the best thing is to completely surrender. That is something that I thought. Maybe Prabhu, you want to add?
No, no, Raghu, I was just lost. I was looking at the app, what you had suggested.
Okay. It comes with the icon as K of Kannada.
I think I downloaded a different app. I'll just.
So you have okay, yeah. Maybe if somebody else has any questions about these verses before we digress. But so anyone else has any questions, thoughts on these three verses? You know, so in this call, it is very strange that there are no responses. So in other words, the DVG did such a fantastic job in this first three verses. He covered the entire spectrum. Looks like all schools of thought in those three kagas quite nicely.
Yeah. Ravi, you are not speaking. I'm getting a doubt whether I'm clear.
Hey, sorry, I was on mute. And you put it so simple way that I didn't want to complicate it by talking. So I kept myself silent. That's all. It was a very, I mean, you explained it so soothingly. So our conversation are little harsh always. So I left it to this feeling.
That's why I was actually thinking. If have you read or have you studied Kagga fully and from across all these 945 poems? Are there some more favorite poems of yours which you have strongly related to that you could potentially share with us to kind of give us a bit more deeper insights into DVG's thoughts, perspectives?
Sure. I believe all of you would have had people who from Karnataka would have had a couple of poems in uh, as part of our textbook, right? Like like how normally we hear people quoting some things like from Bhagavad Gita, just even if you know or don't know, but say that what Krishna has told in 17th chapter, 18th chapter, like that, you will always hear Baduku Jataka Vandi's words, right? That is something that that you always see. or hear people. And this is one Kagga has been quoted and quoted so much. Like you can see that people, whoever wants to convey something, they normally take or pick anything, and they will find some that particular verse which will help them to state their point in their in their writings. So for me, I was to tell you, I haven't read all, or I haven't learned all those 945 verses, but certainly I have uh, uh, read each and every uh, kind of shloka, but not by hearted it or analyzed it or so. And around at least around 60 to 70, I have it has I've got it by hearted. Uh, some things which I really like is there is one thing which talks about how to handle life, right? So I'll just tell you that. In fact, this is something that uh, uh, which is something that I was also referring to whenever there are, in fact, there are two things. One is about the way that Kagga or DVG's version, which Swami Brahmanand ji has told about the three instances which tells how should be our life. And there is this one which uh, which I'll tell one second. I'll just, I don't want to tell anything different. Where is that? One second.
Take your time, no issues.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Manju, in the meantime, if we go with the flow, the fourth, I mean, we are all seekers, right? I mean, we want to understand what is life, what is this world, and all those things. So the next stanza says that I might not sound as poetic as Raghu, but yeah. ಏನು
No
ಜೀವನದರ್ಥ
worries there
ಏನು
about.
ಪ್ರಪಂಚಾರ್ಥ ಏನು ಜೀವನದರ್ಥ ಏನು ಪ್ರಪಂಚಾರ್ಥ ಏನು ಜೀವ ಪ್ರಪಂಚಗಳ ಸಂಬಂಧ ಕಾಣದಿಲ್ಲಿದುರ್ಪುದೇನಾನು ಮುಂಟೆ ಅದೇನು ಜ್ಞಾನ ಪ್ರಮಾಣವೇಂ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. He says, what is life? What is this world? Is there any relation between life and this world? Uh, and is it possible to go beyond and understand? Is can we um, uh, uh, you know is there any logical reasoning that we can understand all these aspects? It is just question, because we are explorer, right? I mean, we are trying to explore all these things. And this is how the flow goes. The first stanza, as Raghu said, prelude, and the next stanza says, "Are we the explorers? Is it really possible to understand and go beyond and understand?"
Nice. Very
Yeah,
nice.
very nice, Prabhu. In fact, the first few stanzas are all questions to an extent that you just want to explore and explore. And then slowly he gives it with the different interpretations and all. So, of course, Brahmanand ji has been he will take you through very nicely, and you can enjoy that. So as I was saying, something which very nice is the poem which I like the most is this one. ಮುಳ್ತುಂಬಿಹುದು ಜಗದ ದಾರಿಗಳದೆತ್ತಲು ಕಾಲ್ತೊಳಕೆ ನೀನ್ ಜ್ಞಾನದ ಎಲೆ ಹಸುರ ಸವರು ಮುಳ್ತಲೆಯ ಬಾಗಿಪುದು ನೆಲ ಹುಲ್ಲು ಹೊದೆಯುವುದು ಬಾಳ್ತನದ ತಂತ್ರವಿದು ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. Did you get?
If you can explain a bit, that would be helpful
Yeah.
as well, Raghu.
So what he says is, ಮುಳ್ಳು ತುಂಬಿಹುದು ದಾರಿಗಳ ಎತ್ತಲು, ಎಲ್ಲ ದಾರಿಗಳಲ್ಲೂ ಮುಳ್ಳು ತುಂಬಿದೆ. ಕಾಲ್ತಳಕ್ಕೆ ನೀನು ಜ್ಞಾನದ ಎಲೆ ಹಸಿರನ್ನು ಸವರು. ಮುಳ್ಳು ತಲೆಯ ಬಾಗಿಪುದು ನೆಲ ಹುಲ್ಲು ಹೊದೆಯುವುದು ಬಾಳ್ತನದ ತಂತ್ರವಿದು ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. It tells like how you should what is the way you can handle life, right? So we have to acknowledge that life is all about thorns, and the entire road is not a smooth drive, but you will have a lot of obstacles, difficult periods, lot of unforeseen events, and the best way to handle is to not to crib about it, but to handle it with he tells like if your feet is getting hurt with the thorns, what you should do is you apply the ಮುಲಾಮು or ಜ್ಞಾನದ ಎಲೆ ಹಸಿರನ್ನು ಸವರಬೇಕಂತ. So apply the knowledge that you have gained. With that, what you will be able to do is that the entire road becomes smooth. ನೆಲ ಹುಲ್ಲ ಹೊದೆಯುವುದು. Suddenly you will find that the entire thing is as if like it's a lawn, and the thorns will bend. ಮುಳ್ ತಲೆಯ ಬಾಗಿಯುವುದು. And that's the way to handle life. So
Does it also indicate that when you are in a situation, accept it and move on so that you can proceed forward? Is that the indirect message?
I don't think acceptance is what he is talking here. He is giving the importance of knowledge to handle it. Maybe acceptance is also one of the knowledge that you can gain, right? But here he is trying to emphasize that how you should, the more you can gain knowledge, you will be able to handle different scenarios in a way that it doesn't hurt you.
Okay.
And also he gives 3 life examples, and the life of Shabari, the life of Hanumanta, and the life of Shaunaka Maharshi as the way to lead life. And it goes like this for Shabari. Tanna ruchi Rama ruchi, ತನ್ನ ಸಂತುಷ್ಟಿ ಪರಿಪೂರ್ಣವಪ್ಪುದು ರಾಮ ಸಂತುಷ್ಟಿಯಿಂದ ಎನ್ನುವ ಸಹಜ ಭಾವದಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದಾಗಿ ಶಬರಿ. Sorry, I missed one line here. So that's like if you are able to see yourself as Lord Rama and see your happiness in the happiness of Rama, so that is the way that you can completely align yourself to God and see godliness. And for Anjaneya, the example he gives is ಘನ ತತ್ವ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೆ ದಿನರಾತ್ರಿ ಮನಸೋತು ನೆನೆಯದಿನ್ನೊಂದನು ಎಲ್ಲವ ನೀಡುತ್ತ ಅದರ ಅನುಸಂಧಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಜೀವ ಭಾವವನ್ನು ಮರೆಯುವುದು ಹನುಮಂತನುಪದೇಶ ಮಂಕುತಿಮ್ಮ. ಸೊ here he says that you believe in one thought or one purpose of or one philosophy. Ghana Tattva is philosophy, right? So if you are completely into that and you don't get diverted for anything else, and that becomes your mission of life, that is also godliness. And the last one is I am missing that poem now, but it talks about considering everything as momentary. Like how Brahmanji gives an example, like how you sit in the park, and the moment before you sit, you put a kerchief or something just so that nothing sticks to you. And once you get up, you just dust it off, right? That kerchief. So that if you are able to see entire things, entire happenings in life in that kind of a momentary thing, that is also, that's what Shaunaka Maharshi has explained. So these three concepts of godliness is also something that I like the most.
Excellent. Excellent.
Okay, so two things are actually standing out to the whole session, right? One is even thinking whether like whether like God exists in any form, whether he exists or not exists. And you said there is a point of view from there's also a um, atheistic point of view also, right? I don't know whether it is in this or somewhere, but you said there's an atheistic point of view also, and there's also a point of view in which they say the God exists. So I think that sums up the beauty. Like no philosophy or no branch of philosophy is neglected, right, in the pursuit of understanding all these mysterious things around us, right? That is one thing that is standing out, and that is a really good thing. Like you explore through different angles, right?
Yeah.
So that is really so. Can just explain me on that different angles that you're talking about, right? Like just for like 2 to 3 minutes, maybe what are the different angles that are there? For example, in Bhagavad Gita, we have the 4 different branches of yoga, right? Primary. So what are like on the superficial level, nothing much in deep.
Good point. I think here people have seen, people who have understood or dig deep into Bhagavad Gita, they can easily correlate like the entire structure or the content has all the elements of Bhagavad Gita only here. So I think based on my limited understanding of Gita, I may not be able to tell the different yogas and all here, but certainly this has, that is why it is also called as Kannada the Bhagavad Gita and all. So I believe it is not anything different or any new thing that it is explained here. It is exactly all those points only, and it has been put across, and nowhere it is bringing any new thought or new philosophy and things like that. So Prabhu, do you want to add based on our your understanding?
Yeah. Even if you see Bhagavad Gita, it is more of Arjuna asking questions and Krishna answering. Though I felt that Mankutima Kagga is not organized as Bhagavad Gita, but if you see there are many poems which triggers you the question, what is it? And many poems give you the answer, what is it? So it is combination of questions and answers in Kagga, which also triggers and also give the answers in some other way. And as Raghu said, uh, uh, it is DVG's personal life experience and what he has learned that has been put in the form of poems so that it is easy for understanding, and it is not different from Bhagavad Gita or Vedas, whatever I mean DVG has put or wanted to summarize from.
Yeah, actually, these types of works by big giants, right, actually help us understand a lot of things in a short while. I mean, not in a short while. What I'm trying to say is like at least gives a broad spectrum of school of thoughts, right? Because this life itself is very small in order to read all those things in depth and all. What I was like asking is like uh, there is a point in which where he asks whether there is God or there is no God, right? And all those. So can you just elaborate on that one, like that type of thought?
Okay.
Because
So
a lot of
maybe
things start. Yeah, yeah.
I get you. I get you. I think if I understood, um, I just referred to Wikipedia just as Prabhu was saying, and you can see here there is this Professor H.S. Lakshmi Narayan Bhatta who has done his PhD thesis, and he has called it as Gundopanishad, or the other name is Timma Guruvige Darshana, Timma Guruvina Darshana. There he has done this classifications, or the way that uh, uh, you can uh, group or identify what exactly are the points that he has covered. And there he says the first one as Antaranga, which is about the inner world. All the poems classified under there, that kind of category. Then the river of life, or Jiva Nadi. Then Chaitanya, or spirit. And then the next one, set of poems into the classification as Niti Sutragalu. So it talks about the inner world. It talks about the aspect of life, and then it talks about what is spirit and the understanding of it. And then it also talks about the moral rules. Is that what you were looking at, Jay, or something
Yeah, Raghu,
different?
yeah. That is close. It is closer to that is one type of classification, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah, I understand. Maybe I'll dig deeper before I ask other questions because this seems to be very interesting. And the second thing that I really liked is you're telling the one shloka where Hanuman is taken into consideration. Lord Hanuman is saying,
yes, yes,
where you dedicate yourself to one particular let's say school of thought, or maybe one
yeah,
particular, and then dedicate yourself to it, and that is also closer to godliness. I think
yeah,
that reminds me of one quote by Vivekananda where he says that take one thought and let it and absorb it in every nerve of your body and live with it. That is the way to godliness, or something like that, something similar to that.
yeah, yeah. Correct. Very
So
nicely put.
so I think that is yeah, that is true. I'm also learning
Very nice.
a lot of things, and other things are like there are two types of scaling, right? One, we have to vertically scale and horizontal scale. So all these things are really helping us in horizontal scaling, and at the same time I think we have to take one thing that aligns to our temperament and go really deep with it. I
Yes,
think that
yes.
is what might help. Yeah, yeah. Thanks, Raghu. Thanks, Prabhu. I mean, really nice. I have something to explore this weekend, so.
Super. That's the intention actually. I am also learning, and this is the first time that I try to do something or explain my understanding. And if it inspires you people to explore more and dig deep, this is one for set of poems which has been very relevant in every time, and this is something that each one of us will certainly benefit if we read it. Uh, every poem here has some deep interpretation, and I would really recommend that you start by hearting it with it, because as you keep memorizing and singing it alone, you will yourself see so many meanings to it, because that's the essence of any poem, right? It will have multiple layers, and each time it gives you a different meaning rather than what has been explained or provided. Because I that is something that I always like in two of my gurus. One, my grandfather, who always had the original text of Bhagavad Gita with him, and it was not required for him to see the different meanings, and it was a very small pocket book. And similarly, my uncle, he also has this small very short book which has all the poems listed down, and that, by if he wants to recollect or read, that will help. So that purpose, I think this app will help us if we can install that, and that certainly will help you to read, memorize, and see that in your own life, in your own way, and in your own meaning. That will be really nice.
Yes, Raghu.
Done, Raghu. Certainly done. So I think that's a great advice. That's probably can keep us all occupied with our thoughts over the weekend and go through some expressions of our own. Sure. Okay, somebody else was saying something. In any case, you have just 1 minute left. Somebody else had any last thought to share?
Only one thing I have, Raghu, your voice when you are singing that poetic way, superb, Raghu. Wonderful.
So nice. Thank you very much. I'm humbled.
Mhm. Where are you, Manju? You are in forest. Nice birds.
It is just walking, I believe.
Yes. Yes. Walking, listening
Super
to birds
background,
chirping.
actually.
Yeah, doing my morning work as well, sir. Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yep. Thank you, Rajiv, for suggesting, and thank you, Raghu, for bringing it up. Actually, it was since a long time I did not go through Kaggas or listen to. I earlier I had audio cassettes of Mankuthi Magana Kagga, all the
Uh-huh.
series.
Uh-huh.
So I used to listen, and recently, some 2 months back, again I started listening on YouTube. Same, I searched for Brahmananda, Swami Brahmananda audio, and started listening. And thanks for refreshing, Raghu. Thanks for bringing it up.
Super. That's so nice. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. This is a good opportunity. I will cherish, I think. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raghu.
guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you all. Have a nice
Thanks.
weekend.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
Thank
you
you
all.
all.
Take
Wish you
care.
all a very happy
Bye-bye.
weekend.